Vinyl friends, collectors, and anybody who loves to dig for vinyl, we got a great show coming at you today. It's on collectibles. Collectible records, not collectible toys, collectible records.
Records that are maybe of an elevated value. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Records that not necessarily when we bought them, they were at this price, but they supply and demand.
Yeah, and it just keeps going up.
Yeah.
It just keeps going up. But first, before we get to that excellent subject, we want to remind you guys to go down to that stuff in the bio down there. You can go to our Fourth Wall site, which is kind of our home away from YouTube home, where you can get special swag, behind-the-scenes videos, and just kind of have a closer relationship with me and Wheels and Keith and Jacob and all the people that make this thing go. You can also go to our social media. We want you guys to like, subscribe, comment, and share, right? And if you want to, down there in that stuff as well, the albums that we talk about, we'll put links to those on Amazon, and you can go buy those albums if you so choose, which helps us because we get a couple shekels back from them when you do that. So back to the collectability. We have talked about many of the records in our collection that are worth more than others. The interesting thing about Wheels and I kind of getting into this, probably, what was it like? It was like 17, maybe 16.
It may have even been earlier than that. It was sometime around there.
The interesting thing is that we have kind of thought we're at the tail end of it and we're jumping on a wave that's going to crash soon, and it has not.
Yeah, and
that wave has kept going.
It's kept going, and I think it was helped along. The wave was helped along by COVID.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think the record sales and just people who, younger folks like your kids' age and other people who maybe used to collect and got out of it and got rid of all their stuff and their gear kind of jumped back into it then.
Yeah.
Right? But that wave, every time I go to a show, I always pick the brains of the guys that are there selling records and asking them when they think this thing will die down, and it never does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't die down. Prices have settled down a little bit.
Yeah, as much as they can. In an economy like it is, worldwide. But yeah, it's been a trip because from the beginning, Wheels and I have never done this to make money. There are people who are involved in this sickness, who are involved in it to make money.
Yeah.
There are other people who are not even concerned about the money side of it, from buying records to selling records. There's a whole spectrum of different kinds of reasons to get into this. We just started doing it because
we like vinyl.
We like vinyl. And, Wheels grew up with it. I grew up with it. When you think about it, our generation has gone through more iterations of music provision.
Yeah.
Because, you had vinyl, you had reel-to-reel, you had 8-track, you had cassettes, CDs, back to vinyl. And now we've got streaming too.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of been a trip. And we've never really devoted a show to value and talking about like some of the more valuable records that we have and sharing those details with you. So we figured we'd, at 89 episodes in, we figured we'd do that.
And we're not the end all be all on value. We just know from really what we have and checking the prices and going to a lot of record stores and a lot of record shows, you get kind of
you get a baseline,
a data bank
of,
hey, this is the medium price of what this should be going for.
Mm-hmm. I always give the example. I was just working in New York City for 9 days about a month and a half ago, and I went down to the Village because I love Greenwich Village, and I went to 3 record shops there. One of them was closed. One of them was open. The third one I went to, I walked in there, and it looks awesome. I mean, kind of a long, narrow place. And, there's just a lot. There's like classical and jazz over here. There's pop, rock, and then more pop and rock in the back. So my baseline for when I'm in a record store, my baseline is Michael Jackson's Thriller. Because honestly, you shouldn't be paying more than $20 for a copy of Thriller, right? Well, this store, it was like $40.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And then I started flipping through everything. Jackson is near L, so I'm flipping through Led Zeppelin, and all the Led Zeppelin records are $40. And then I go back to the back of the store, and they have previous record store day releases, and I flip through those, and everything on there is $40. So I'm like, one of the guys that worked in the store asked if he could help, not in a nice or helpful way. I'd been there long enough that I think he just, interacted. And I turned around and I said, are these priced in US dollars? And he looked at me funny. And then I just kept looking, and it's almost like everything they got, they put $40 on.
Yeah, it was just inflated.
which is lazy, inflated. But of course, it's Greenwich Village, and I'm sure their rent's through the roof too. But so on my way, I didn't buy anything. On my way out of the store, I talked to the owner. I'm like, "Hey, are you the guy that runs this place?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "What's the deal with the pricing?" He's like looking at me like I'm an alien. And I said, "Well, you got $40 on a copy of Michael Jackson's Thriller that is easily maybe a $19 or $20 record." And he kind of almost was beside himself that I was mentioning it, but it's true.
Yeah.
You got to look out. See, in New York City, in Greenwich Village, you're going to have a lot of people from out of the country traveling, coming through. And my guess is that that's the case. He's got a lot of foreigners who are coming and spending money at his store, and he's just slapping $40 on everything. So you really got to look out for yourself. You really got to know what is and what is not a good amount to pay for a record. And what for me, it's Michael Jackson, because like when I was just getting to the age of like ready to spend my own money on records, that was the record. And so it's a good baseline. There's 70 million copies of that out in the world. And so if it's overpriced, if that record is overpriced, you can probably bet your bottom dollar that everything in that store is going to be overpriced, right?
That's a good. I don't know that I have a litmus test. I kind of know how much some things are, and I when I'm flipping through, I'm like, that's.
I do the same thing with bourbon. Like if I'm in a place that's selling booze, and in New York City, I mean, you've got a lot of liquor stores, but you're in New York City, so everything's going to be more expensive. But I look for a bottle of Woodford Reserve and see what they're selling that for, or Maker's Mark. And if it's through the roof, I know that everything in there is.
Yeah, that's a good point. If there's something the value of, and it's elevated,
yeah,
there's a good chance everything's going to be elevated.
Yeah. So pick whatever artist or whatever record. It can be Dark Side of the Moon. It can be The Wall. Whatever. Pick one of those. Kind of get familiar with what the pricing is on it, and that'd be a good way for you to like dive in to digging through records in record stores. So what did you want to start with today?
I want to start with grading.
Yeah.
Because that has a lot to do with it. Obviously, an unopened record, a brand new record. Say you have a brand new record.
Sealed.
Old new stock from 1989. Mm-hmm. It's going to be worth a lot more than an opened record. That's just the way it works.
Because that's mint.
Yeah, that's mint.
That's mint condition. The jacket doesn't have corner folds or dents or dings in it. And the fact that it's sealed and has not been played means that the media, the record, is in mint condition as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, mint is the very top mark, and you'll see an M. So sometimes on a label, they'll put, on a used record especially, they'll put M.
Mm-hmm. Or NM, which is near mint.
Near mint. Yeah. And then we get into the grading of the different little subsets of the areas. So you've got near mint plus, near mint plus plus, and then you have near mint minus, and it goes on and on. Then you get to very good plus plus.
And then VG plus.
VG plus.
VG.
And then some people even use excellent, which I don't see that one pop up as much.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
The like on Discogs, which is a common place where you can put your catalog and you can also buy records
And sell them.
It's almost like a eBay for vinyl people.
And just, we have no connection to Discogs, but that is kind of the standard that people both put their collection on. One of my buddies has his collection up there. He also has a spreadsheet of his whole collection, but a lot of people keep their collection up there so that they can know what they do and do not have, what they're looking for. You can make a wish list. You can value your collection, which is something that I have to do because we're doing an insurance audit, and our financial advisor said you absolutely need to value that collection. I'm not looking forward to grading all my records, but that'll offer me the opportunity to go through, get rid of some stuff that I don't want to keep, and maybe make some room. Discogs is kind of like the standard bearer for record collectors, at least that I've come across since we've been doing this.
Yeah, it really is. And they use what was it? The Gold Mine magazine?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the Gold Mine system of grading, which is pretty renowned. I mean, almost everybody at record shows uses this to kind of grade records. And I mean, everybody's version of very good plus plus and very good plus is going to be different.
Yes, absolutely.
And I mean, you have to visually inspect used records. I mean, obviously, if you're buying online, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But you can ask for pictures, and most sellers, especially if you're paying more for an album, if you're paying $10, don't expect them to send you a picture.
No.
But if you're paying, say, $100 for an album you really want, ask for pictures.
Yeah. I find myself at record shows and really at record stores. I won't always take the record out. I mean, I almost, if it's something that I know has a spectrum of value and it's an amount I want to pay for it, I see what it's priced at. I mean, I can probably guess that a reputable record store or a record seller isn't going to put, you could have a beautiful jacket for a record that looks like there's nothing wrong with it and have a really bad record inside of it. I don't always take the record out. More and more as we get further into this, I will, because I just want to protect my investment. And of course, if I'm buying the record, I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that no, what do you call them?
People with claws.
Claw people have handled it. But yeah, I mean, you have to look out for yourself. And that's expected at record shows.
Yeah.
That's expected at record stores. And the other side of that is, you'll see guys at record shows bring a record player to give it a listen. And most sellers are perfectly fine with that. That's what records are meant to do. So, sorry.
And, I mean, I'm kind of the same way, but pretty much anything over $10, $15, I'm going to look at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because not everything it shows has a grade on it.
No.
Which that kind of protects the seller too.
Right.
Because, your version, like I said, your version of very good could be my version of, good. But
I think we're angering the record gods.
Yeah, so it's pretty much mint, near mint, very good, and then there are different levels, and good, and then there's poor, F. I don't know why anybody would buy an F album, unless it was a highly collectible album.
Yeah, I mean, there's who are we talking about? or who were we talking to? Oh, it was Michael Young. He was talking about having a Robert Ludwig
That's a prime example.
Led Zeppelin 2 just for the jacket. He said the media was torched, not
Yeah.
torched, but not in good shape. But there's an example of that.
Well, yeah, and it gets into so that grading system also works for the jackets too.
Yeah.
But the jackets have never meant a bunch to me. It's always been about the record.
Yeah.
Like the record cannot be touched,
Yeah.
has to be cleaned,
Yeah.
and you got to take care of your music.
I always say that I'm CDO, which is OCD, but in alphabetical order. And for me, I would find it difficult to buy a record that I want that didn't have a really good jacket. I mean, sometimes there's just not product available. Sometimes if you want the album, you want it to listen to, you're going to have to make that compromise between, if the media is in great shape, but the jacket not so much. Me, I have a hard time with that. I'm also a completist. So once I start buying records from a certain artist, I want to get all of them because I'm trying to fill some hole in my heart.
Yeah.
But, there's all manner of ways to approach this. And we've had Rob Coyle, the guy that runs Crossroads Music Show, on the show before, and we've talked to him and teased having him on about grading, but we really need to do that because that's something that obviously someone who, like Rob, has done this his entire life, did it growing up. People like that are going to be able to look at a record and tell you what the grade
what level it should be.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just guess.
No, I don't really know either. But again, I feel like if we're approaching this from the perspective that we do, which is just collecting, we have a little less of a stake in the grades than
Right.
someone who is buying something.
Yeah,
and-
buyers are the ones who understand
Well,
grading.
buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
So since we aren't on the seller side of it, it's something that we kind of have a trust for the people that we buy records from.
Yeah.
And, a lot of the shows we go to are rotating shows that happen at least once or maybe a couple times a year. So we see a lot of the same record sellers, and you establish a relationship with them. We have so many friends, Doug Bowerly, Shane Hiles, Rob Coyle, all of these guys, we know that if we're buying something from them, they're giving us a fair price and it's in good shape.
We don't need to look at them.
And that's the great thing about when you establish a relationship and participate in a community like this, you can feel a little better that your hard-earned money, and today money is hard-earned, you can feel a little better that your money that you're paying for this kind of stuff is going in the right direction and you're not going to be hornswaggled, right?
Yeah, and if you have one record store you go to, you know what kind of vinyl they take in and what condition it is and what they put on their shelf.
Yeah. So it's like anything else. It's buyer beware.
Yeah.
You just need to arm yourself with a little bit of knowledge. I mean, everybody's got a wish list or a want list. I have it. I have one, but I never refer to it because, like I've said, I walk into a record store or a record show and all bets are off. I mean, speaking of which, I went to Duke's show last weekend or the weekend before that, and Shane Hiles was there. All the guys that we know were there, and I found a record from Shane that I bought on CD when it came out because I saw it. It's Deltron 3030. The record is Event 2, and it's the guy behind Gorillaz, but it's his own thing, and it's like a themed album about life in a post-apocalyptic world, and it's like rap and funk and everything. It is so great. And I'm flipping through Shane's records, and I'm like, I cannot believe you have this. And I got it. I got it from Shane. He gave me a great price on it, and I dug into it when I got home. I mean, I don't always immediately get home and like listen to stuff.
Yeah.
I did that day, and that's a great thing too. It's a great feeling We talk about this sickness, this collector's sickness. It is kind of a chase. It's kind of a
It's a chase. It really is.
it's kind of a thing where you're putting out into the universe, hey, I want this, and then it can become an obsession. It can become any level of that for you to get that thing. And people do that nowadays with the all sorts of collectibles. People do it with like the Pokemon stuff. Is
You're
still
going
a
to find it with
phenomenon.
everything. Hot Wheels, you name it.
Yeah. And we are very lucky to be in a position to do something, to have a hobby like this or a sickness, and do it. And believe me, if there's ever been a time when I've been grateful, I mean, now I am extremely grateful to be in the position, not just to collect records, but to be able to do this show and spend time with the folks in this community, because a lot of those folks, the community that we talk about is the group of people who are at these record shows and the people that will see on social media and see the things that they buy, and the collectors and the sellers and all of the interesting folks that you run into at the show. One of my favorite things to do at these record shows, I'm just as happy to walk around and thumb through records, but I love looking at the stuff that people buy.
Yeah, that's always interesting.
Because we're programmed to have this preconceived notion by the way that people look on their exterior about the kind of stuff that they're going to buy. And I am always floored by the different things that people pick up and spend money on. So, yeah. So what else did you want to jump into?
Well, on Discogs, the good thing is they give you a high, medium, and low price that things have sold for.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that there's going to be anything available in that price, because I don't know, they use a pretty broad range of years depending on the release.
Yeah.
So it may, vinyl is a little bit like the stock market. It's going to keep going up, especially for more collectible, harder to find things.
Yeah, and the other thing is, that high, median, and low number on Discogs, they will take that. I assume those numbers are from all sales, right?
Yeah.
So the more rare the record, the fewer the sales there are of that record. And if a record is more rare, it's safe to assume that it's worth more money, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. It's a supply and demand thing, just like anything economically. And I don't pretend to understand economics, but I in kind of doing some prep work for this show, our last show was the Ozzy show. And it was interesting to me because I was doing prep work for both shows at the same time. But I was finding that a lot of that Ozzy stuff is pretty expensive. And not just because he just passed away. I was looking at Ozzy stuff for the last couple weeks. It's so weird. It was probably because of the Back to the Beginning show. But I was looking to fill in a few of the holes in my Ozzy collection. And Bark at the Moon is a great example. You can't find Bark at the Moon by itself if you want to order it on Amazon. Now, I know that I can go on Discogs and get it, but I'd like to get a new copy. That's another thing we talk about all the time is there are some records that I love the fact that I have a first pressing of. But if we're talking about catalog music like Led Zeppelin and Kiss and things like that, I want those repops, man.
Yeah, because they sound so good.
And in the time that we've been doing this, those repops have become valuable.
Yeah.
It's really kind of crazy. In Ozzy's case, I mean, here's a guy that worldwide has sold 100 million records. So between cassette and LP and CD and streaming, there's 100 million in sales there. So there's a bunch of them that have been bought up out there. But I think in that show we were talking about, people buy those Ozzy records and they keep them.
Yeah.
And that
They
must,
hang on to them.
yeah, that must be why those records are so expensive.
And there's another interesting thing to me, because when you go on Discogs, you see sellers from all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And prices in Europe and the UK are lower than they are in the US. Now you're going to pay shipping,
Mm-hmm.
so add that on.
Yeah.
You're paying $30 to $50 in shipping for one LP.
Yeah.
Almost always the US prices are higher
Yeah.
than that.
I wonder if that's just because of the demand. I mean,
It's got to be demand. And I think because Record Store Day is a U.S. thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really what revitalized the vinyl demand.
Well, I mean, in looking back, this whole vinyl thing really kicked off in 2007.
Yeah.
So that's when the first Record Store Day happened. And so that's what, like 18 years ago. So the vinyl resurgence has been on a crescendo for almost 2 decades, which is nutty, right?
It is crazy.
I mean, it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
When you and I started going out and hunting for records, and it's been a long time. I mean, it's already been almost 7 years since we started this show. If you can believe that. Time really flies when you're spending money like a maniac.
Yeah.
But so 2007 is kind of that delineating time when the industry took notice. I always say if I could jump in a time machine, I wouldn't go back and steal Biff's sports scores book from Back to the Future. I'd go back and I'd buy a bunch of vinyl. Right.
And not open it.
And not, even so, buy the used stuff.
Yeah.
Because there was a time before we started doing the show, after 2007, that you could go into used record stores and buy stuff for, 75 cents a dollar.
Yeah. It's just kind of crazy how it's become. But I mean, that's the way all collectibles are.
Oh yeah.
I don't care if you're collecting, spoons or records. There's when it first starts, the prices are lower, and then as more people get into it, prices start to skyrocket.
Well, it's like your Beanie Baby collection.
Yeah. And I hold that dear.
Do what?
And I hold that dear. I don't have a Beanie Baby.
Yeah, sure. But like I said, with my example of the Greenwich Village record store, there are people who are reputable folks, most of them, that are going to do the work. But when you think about it, a record store, say you own a record store that's got like 5,000 records. I mean, somebody has to price those. Somebody has to. They don't necessarily have to grade them. A lot of places will grade them and price them, but a lot of work goes into this. And
it's not just here it is, put it on the shelf.
And another thing to mention about Discogs, while we're kind of talking about it, is on the mobile version, you can use your camera phone to scan the UPC code on the jacket. Now, UPCs, I think, started in 80 or 81. So anything previous to that, you're either going to have to use any of the matrices in the runout groove.
Yeah.
Or the matrices on the jacket of the record, which they aren't always the same. So the easiest way is to pull that record out, get into the runout groove, and look at that matrix number and plug that into Discogs, and that'll tell you what you got in your hands.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother thing that goes into value, the release.
Yeah, because when you think about it, when albums, let's just say Black Sabbath's first record, it came out in 69, I think, or 70. So, it comes out, sells a bunch, they have to press more. So that's the second pressing, and on and on and on. So there are ways to distinguish between pressings, and
that's a whole different rabbit hole that we're not super well versed in.
Yeah, we've had Michael Young on, and he's a pressing
good,
guy.
yeah.
So there are folks out there, and just ask if you're looking for something at a store or a show. Just ask the folks selling it.
Yeah,
they should know. If they don't, they're probably just slapping $40 on everything and trying to rip you off.
Well, should we talk about some records?
Yeah. So we mention valuable records on occasion, but again, our reason for doing this was never money, was never to make money. Our reason for doing it was the love of the collecting, the love of the chase, the love of the music. And so our approach to this is not, we are lucky to have these records in our collection, and we want to share them with you. That's our perspective. So what's your first one?
Well, the first one I want to talk about, this is...
And if you go back and listen, he's mentioned this.
Yeah, I've mentioned this
many
times. This is a bootleg Pink Floyd, The Wall, the film. And for a long time, the only way to get When Tigers Broke Free, which is in the film, was on a single or a bootleg.
Because the album came out before the film.
Yeah.
Correct? Yes.
And so this came out in 82, and back in the day, in the 80s and the 70s, a lot of collectible records were imports or bootlegs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's funny, the source for this is the film, and it's a mono press. I've read some places that maybe one side might be stereo, but anyhow, I wouldn't say it sounds excellent, but it sounds pretty darn good for being, not from a master source.
Well, and the other thing is, when you got this in what?
Probably right around that time, 82 or 83.
So think back, there's no digital music, there's no internet, obviously. There's no way to compare prices other than, there were some publications that, you could find values for records in. But you were kind of shooting in the dark back then. And you really had to trust whatever your source was. If it was a fan magazine that you read about it in, and then that gave you the idea to look for it, or whatever it was. But the other thing is, if this was the only way to get that song, it didn't really matter how it sounded, did it?
Right. And the amazing thing is you never knew with bootlegs how they were going to sell. A lot of live shows were on bootlegs, but this one actually sounds pretty good.
Can I turn it around?
Yeah.
Here? We'll take a look at the back. It's
a double LP.
Yeah. Double LP in a single jacket.
And the funny thing is they've got like their stock number, and over here they have all rights reserved.
Well, they are reserved.
They are reserved, just not by you.
Is this on black vinyl?
Yes.
Just regular black vinyl?
Yeah. There wasn't that much on colored vinyl in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was like very few.
Yeah. So just as a kind of a roundhouse figure, and the fact that this is a bootleg, what are we talking?
I've seen it at shows for $150.
Mm-hmm.
There's some on eBay right now for $200. You don't see this much.
Yeah.
It's I'm not going to say it's a very rare album, but there's not a bunch out there.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And obviously this is your jam when it comes to Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
The Wall.
This is my favorite. I love the movie. I love the album. And I remember buying this the second time around when I saw it.
Oh, you bought this from Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Thank you, Tony.
Yes.
Thanks for contributing to our sickness. That's a great one to start with.
So
a good
it's you never know, what you're going to find out there. And if you see this one and it's under $100, I'd say pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I paid a lot less.
Yeah, we always say you're never going to regret what you buy, but you're going to regret what you don't buy. And had I not bought that Deltron 3030 record from Shane,
you would regret it.
Absolutely. My collection and yours, we've talked about it. We don't need anything.
No.
It's at a point where it's based on want.
Yes.
Right. And I struggled. I was at that show for probably 4 hours that day, and I found that, and I'm like, do I want to? Yeah, I want it because I know how seldom. I've never seen it on vinyl, and I know that I probably would have texted Shane a week later and said, "Hey, do you still have that?" And he'd be like, "Nope." All right, so
what are you going to put up on the good old orange speaker?
Well, this is Be Here Now by Oasis, and this is an original press of this. This originally came out in 1997. So think about that. This was originally released, when they weren't making records.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason I'm not a huge Oasis fan. They're having a revival. They've gotten their collective shit together, and the brothers have realized that warring factions are a lot less profitable than friendly ones. So they're back together. They're taking over the world. They're touring Europe right now, and all things Oasis are kind of catching fire again.
Yes.
But this came out like I said, in August of '97, and its median values like $160 or $70, and I came across this. I didn't pay that, but I've always kept my eye out for Oasis stuff because it's undeniable that they're a great band and a cultural phenomenon. It's almost as entertaining watching the brothers fight as it is listening to the music and just their attitude. They are definitely rock stars.
Yes.
And so I grabbed this because I knew it was an opportunity. And it turned out to be a good grab. If you can help me open the gatefold here. Try not to drop it. I love all of the pictures and stuff inside. It's very kind of old school 70s gatefold feeling.
Yeah, it really is.
And this is one that it's got a couple dings on it. It is not mint. It's definitely not mint condition, but it's probably near mint. And the records are in fantastic shape. So that median value is around $160, but then the higher value of this is 200 and something.
And again, you get into that supply and demand just because not that much of that stuff has been produced.
Yeah. And it's interesting now with the Oasis stuff too, because you're going to see an influx of re-releases of their stuff that, like I said, 1997. I mean, 95, 96, 97, there were very few records being made. I mean, by that point, it was a niche market because the industry worldwide had moved to compact disc.
Yeah.
So the further in the 90s you get, the lower the amount of records that were produced. So they're more scarce and obviously more valuable. But I thought Oasis was a good way to start, just to give the boys a nod. I know that they need a couple bucks, right?
It's good to help them out. And the next one I want to talk about, I've talked about till I'm blue in the face.
R.I.P. Jane's Addiction.
Yeah. Because of Perry's little outburst. But Jane's Addiction's first release, Jane's Addiction, it's a live show, and it was released on Triple X Records.
Out of
out of L.A.
L.A.
I'll get into that.
Okay.
So this came out on May 15th of 87 and then the CD in 88. And it was at the Roxy in West Hollywood.
Oh, cool.
And
I love West Hollywood.
one of the founders of Triple X Records saw Jack Nicholson on the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was walking or maybe in a car or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you got to come in and see Jane's Addiction. We're recording a show. He's really excited.
Yeah.
And of course, Jack's just like, get away from me, kid. But this was, it's kind of cool. The way, I'm not going to take it out, but on the run out groove, the way to know you have one of the original presses, it says on side A, it used to be secrets. I couldn't give them away. And on B, it's like, what made you look here? Just little goofy things like that.
They do that. There will be little hidden messages in the run out wax on records occasionally. That's funny. What made you look here?
And there were, with this, I could see myself diving into like the guy, Kevin Stout, bought all the Synchronicity, because there are color variants of this.
Of the cover?
No, not of the cover, of the vinyl.
Of the vinyl, okay.
So there's a clear, a white, a blue, a red, a purple, and a green. And those are...
Which is this?
This is just black.
Just the black.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I bought this on Discogs. I found it, somebody in the UK. And it's hard to find. If you can find this record for under $100, get it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Because
That's great.
it goes on
Let me
up.
turn it around here. Got some performance, there's some performance shots there.
I've seen it in the U.S. As high as $600.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's going to depend on the condition. The vinyl in this one's in really good shape. The jacket has a little bit of wear, but it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And I guess there were some inserts. There's no inserts with this one.
Oh, okay. So like some promotional inserts that probably let you sign up with the band's fan club or something like that.
Yeah, it's very... I have the CD too, which I've got to dig around and find. But it's hard to find a lot of info on this album.
Interesting.
It's out there, but
it is an interesting...
You gotta dig.
Yeah, it is an interesting... And that's part of the fun of doing all this. But it is an interesting first album for a band to be a live record. But the reason that it is because they were kind of committed to Triple X before they were picked up by, was it Warner?
Yeah, and they had kind of already committed to sign a deal with Warner, but the guys who founded Triple X basically mortgaged houses, sold cars to do a record deal.
To do a record deal for Jane's.
Yeah, to do a record deal for Jane's, and then have a record company.
Well, that's, you hear about those stories all the time. These people who really believe in these bands that are willing to put their livelihood and their lives on the line for the betterment of the band. So that's really cool. That's a good one.
The guys who founded the label were actually in line for unemployment.
Oh, really?
They were, I mean, this is all in. But this was the introduction to Jane's Addiction.
Yeah. Well, not just the introduction to Jane's Addiction, because when you think about it, this band was kind of the poster child for the alternative music movement.
Yes.
Perry Farrell, the guy that started the Lollapalooza festival, which sort of brought the festival back to the U.S., that along with, I mean, he was before Ozfest, so he was a trailblazer.
Yeah.
And, think what you want to about him. I mean, he's been a very shrewd businessman.
Yeah.
Over the years. He's also the reason that the band probably will never play again. But I had heard that Dave and the other guys were suing him for what happened because of
Oh, yeah.
lost revenue for the tour, and they were supposedly doing an album, and then Perry goes back and just countersues them. So
Yeah, but it's kind of amazing that he starts the festival only 2 years after this first album comes out.
90 or
89, yeah.
No kidding. Yeah, that's crazy. And it still happens every year in Chicago
Yeah.
now. But yeah, that's cool, man. That's a great one, and I know how much this record means to you. So
Yeah, I love this record. I love the covers on it.
yeah, that's awesome. Very
And
cool.
I'll just say real quick. So this one has been repopped. I picked one up at the show.
Oh, has it?
I haven't even opened it, so
Is it a color variant?
I supposedly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll open it at some point
okay.
and find out. But
Mm. Is this a bootleg or?
it's not by Triple X Records. It's pressed by somebody else who got the rights.
Gotcha.
And I think are they out of Brazil? Yeah.
Huh.
Espresso Mondo Press out of Brazil. So
Press.
it may be considered a bootleg. Who knows?
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta break that open and take a listen
Yeah,
to it.
I got to take a listen.
So this is a MoFi pressing of the Elvis Costello Burt Bacharach album Painted from Memory that they did together in 1998. So this was after my fascination with Elvis started, probably in 93, 94. And Elvis and Burt got together and wrote a song for a movie. I think it was God Give Me Strength. Wrote a song for a movie together, and then that kind of they were kind of like, well, let's do a whole album together, and it was this album. So when it came out, I was totally on board. This MoFi pressing was released in 2017. So what, 9 years after the original? No, 20 years after the original album came out almost. So this, I got this from Karma. I was at Karma West at Doug's store probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I didn't have this on vinyl. And it was on the wall, the expense they put the really cool, expensive stuff up on the wall. And I was like, Doug, what are we talking for this? And he told me the price. And I'm like, ugh, I'd love to have it, but, that's a little too steep for me. And then Doug went to Discogs and looked up the last sold price, which was a decent amount less than what they had on this. So I got this for the last sold price on Discogs.
So that gives credence to Discogs and how record sellers use it.
Yeah.
It's a guide.
Yeah, it's kind of a price guide, there, and you'll see the history of the sale on there. But the last sold, that could be yesterday.
Yeah.
It could be 2 years ago, depending on how many of them there are and how many have sold and been reported. So I got this for the last sold price. Let me open it up here, if you don't mind grabbing that side. So you can hear it's this tip-on jacket, and you've got stuff of them in the studio there. But what I really like is this ad for other MoFi pressings and MoFi cleaning supplies and sleeves and everything. So I just really dig stuff like that. And this is a hefty, pretty thick cardboard there. But
they're not using cheap paper.
No. So you got Elvis and Burt Bacharach, who died a couple of years ago. So R.I.P. Burt. But I love this record. Elvis's performance on it, his voice is probably at the top of his game. I don't know why that's not closing. I wonder. And this, all the MoFi stuff is very, very beefy.
Well packaged.
Very well packaged, and I'm just going to leave it like that. It's a splurge. I love the picture of the both of them on the back too. It's a splurge that I normally wouldn't have.
But it's for one of your
done.
favorite artists. So.
Yeah. So, and MoFi, MoFi are a thing of their own. I mean, there was some controversy with them in the last couple of years about their one-step process and all that. And anyway, I listened. The MoFi stuff I've got a Miles MoFi pressing. I've got a Ricky Nelson MoFi. My Street Survivors is a MoFi. So, but it looks like the median price on this baby is about $140, and it doesn't look like there's not that many. That's the other thing. It tells you how many copies there are available.
Yeah, it tells you how many are available and how many
how many are available on the marketplace on Discogs.
Yeah. When the wants outnumber the haves, it's going to be up there in price.
Yeah. But I love this record, and I'm not the type of person that would like splurge on something like this, but I did that day, and I don't regret it, just like we always say. I do not regret buying this. If you haven't listened to this, it's definitely a little more adult contemporary. There's a lot of orchestration and stuff in it.
Well, it's Bert. It should be.
Yeah, but Elvis's performance is just fantastic. So, yeah, Painted from Memory. And by the way, they didn't repress this, but they just released a 2-record album that has everything that they did together on it.
Oh.
So it's got this whole album and like 5 or 6 other songs on it. And I have that too, of course.
So next up is a little album called Who's Your Hysteria? And this is a combo album. So it takes Dow Jones and the Industrials, who were from West Lafayette, and the Gizmos, who are from Bloomington. And it marries the two.
Which it's special because Bloomington and West Lafayette are mortal enemies.
Yeah, but both college campuses had a great music scene going at the time.
And what year is this?
This album came out in 1980.
80.
On Gulch Records.
So, do you want to tell us how old you were in 1980?
No. And, this is one that I bought. I love Dow Jones and the Industrials.
How did you hear them?
Through my friend Steve McMurray.
Okay.
And then when he started at Purdue, he actually knew the guys in the band.
That's
and
cool.
he was playing in a band, so.
Yeah, that's cool. Is he the one that lives in Asia now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
So
he was a sensei for you.
Yes, without a doubt. But yeah, when I probably paid $5 used at Tony's place, and there's just not a lot of these out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, it's back to the, so the lowest I could find one was, it looks like I saw one at a show 3 years ago for $150 on Discogs, 192 to 650.
Wow. That's.
But they're only.
How many of them are there on there?
3.
3.
Yeah.
And that Spectrum is $200 to $650.
Yeah.
With 3 records.
Yeah.
So you can assume that condition is part of the reason for that swing.
Sure. And I mean, when you have 242 people have and 812 want.
Yeah. Do you know
there's
how many?
A higher demand than supply.
Do you know how many were ever pressed?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, we can look that up and put that in the info.
Well, good luck finding that. I can't find anything on this other than Discogs.
That's so crazy. But, it's funny to me that the swing is from like 192 to 650. So you can probably assume that 650 might be near mint.
Yeah.
Or maybe even mint. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. I mean, considering how old it is.
Yeah. But the crazy thing to me is just like with Led Zeppelin 2. I mean, there were so few of them produced. I think less than 100,000.
Yeah.
So that's why the value of that is so high. But this is like an independent record with local, maybe regional bands on it, 2 of them, that basically spans the length of the state of Indiana. So they probably, back in the day, they probably didn't produce a lot of these,
No.
you know? I do have a repopped version of this.
Oh, they repopped this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
I'll have to bring it in and show it to you.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, the only reason I got it is because you always talked about
Yeah.
it. So, but no, that's cool.
And the Dow Jones and the Industrials are more like somebody like Devo. It's
Just
very,
kind of an art rock.
it's art rock, experimental, and the
Yeah.
Gizmos are more like just kind of bar rock.
You know, every city and every state has records like this.
Local records,
Local
yes.
records that were produced in very, very small numbers. And I would assume that the 3 that are available, the 192.50 version, is probably somebody that just played the hell out of that, because who would ever have bought this record and thought, well, I need to keep this pristine because it's going to be worth a lot of money one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to
Yeah,
find
because
out.
whoever bought this was probably in college.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At one of these campuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's a good one. Gizmo's fan club information right there.
Yeah, there's tons of fun stuff on the back.
Yeah. That's awesome.
North Indiana sheep herders, breeders for adults and children. Science, they just have, because a lot of these guys were in Purdue's some sort of science program.
Yeah. Purdue's got a lot of smart people going there.
Yes.
All right. That's a good one. I'm glad you brought that. My next one. Excuse me. So, I just knocked the next one over. This is Pussifer, Money Shot. And if you don't know Pussifer, it is Maynard James Keenan from Tool. It's one of his 17 side projects. This is Money Shot. This pressing is from 2016. This is a great record. My favorite song on here is Grand Canyon. His voice and singing style is unlike anybody else's. And considering that Tool puts albums out so infrequently, you can kind of understand why, he's involved in A Perfect Circle and Pussifer and a few other things. But I probably got this in, 18 or so, and had absolutely no idea about its value. But it, when you look on Discogs, this is near mint for sure. On Discogs, it's median. The weird thing is its median price. The low price listed on here is $588, and the high price is $500.
Wow.
And the median is $107.50. So, yeah. Let me do you mind grabbing the other side of that? Just open it up, and yeah, you've got the folks with those masks on there. They're one of those. These guys are kind of also like an art rock band, just a couple degrees off from what you're used to hearing. So I got this, like I said, probably in 18, and I know I did not pay a lot for it, but this had become collectible, and people were itching for a repop of this, and they just put one out like 2 years ago, which I also got.
Why not?
But that one is a blood red opaque color variant.
Yeah,
that I think it was. I got it through Newberry Comics. Newberry Comics is one of the places that will have these variants, either variant vinyl or variant covers. A lot of places will pop across, you search one thing on your computer and then your social media's filled with those, or they're just always listening, which they are. But yeah, this was one that I really wanted and I got, and I'm glad. But if you only listen to one thing on here, listen to Grand Canyon. The video for it is a trip because it's like time lapse, high quality time lapse stuff, like shot in the Grand Canyon, and it is a trip. And with certain chemicals, it's even better.
It's even better.
Yeah, but I love Tool. I just love the fearlessness that Maynard kind of jumps into these things with, and it's not for everybody, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's nice to find those things, those off the beaten path kinds of things. So, yep, Money Shot by Pussifer.
That's a good one.
Give it a look and listen.
All right. My next one is
Oh yeah,
the Dresden Doll.
I might have to hold this.
Yeah,
I'll
this
hold
is
it.
it's a triple album collection, and this is one of those albums that is it a Rhino? I can't remember. Let me look.
It's the Vagina Monologues, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Rhino. But here is why this one's worth a little bit more. If you can see in the bottom corner, it's number 2 of 9,000.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was just, I ordered it off an eBay seller, and it was just happen chance.
What do you feel comfortable saying what you got it for?
Yeah, it was between 30 and 40 bucks.
Wow. And what's it worth now?
It's not worth a bunch. I mean, you can find a copy for 50 bucks. The high's probably, 120. But given that it is the second of a series of 9,000.
Yeah. Speaking of which, man, I'm sorry my chair's squeaking so much, folks.
Here's what we'll do. We'll see if we can.
Okay. So, yeah. So this was my Elvis and Bert is all of the MoFi stuff is numbered, and it is 2406 of 3,000. So if you ever come across those numbers, obviously the lower numbers are going to be
more valuable just because that's the way people work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can also assume that lower number is probably one of the first pressed.
Yeah.
So when you have the plates to press these into the vinyl, the lower numbers should, by I don't understand physics, but physics would say that,
they're going to sound better.
Yeah, they're going to sound better. Those grooves are going to be in there more, and on and on and on. But that's a cool. Well, you've talked about this one before.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the big thing is that I want to talk about. It's not that it's a terribly valuable album, but the fact that it's number 2 of 9,000 makes it a bit more desirable.
Yeah, I got Grave Dancers Union by Soul Asylum. It's numbered, and it's actually number 666.
That's funny.
There may be instances where certain numbers are valued more because of that or any other myriad silly reasons. But tell us real quickly, the Dresden Dolls, tell us the type of music it is.
Oh, the Dresden Dolls are...
it's a duo.
It's a duo, and they are piano rock, alternative rock, dark cabaret.
Dark cabaret. Yeah. So dramatic. Look at the makeup.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's cool. For some reason, I love like double and triple and quadruple albums. I love the way that they feel.
They're heavy.
Like the double gatefolds and everything. It's a substantial feeling and it just feels great.
These are fun because each one is a different color.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
There's I think a white, a red, and a blue or something like that.
That's awesome. Very good. Very good. I like it. My next one, had to bring it because it's kind of like a baseline. It's my original copy of Van Halen's last album with Sammy Hagar, Balance. And until they re-released this in a box set with all of Sammy's Van Halen stuff. And I wasn't super impressed with either the packaging or the press of it. This press of this is fantastic. This album originally came out in January of 95. So that's right in that groove, so to speak, of where the music industry was moving away
from vinyl.
I remember I was at Ball State. I went to Target and bought this on CD and cassette. I didn't buy it on vinyl because at that time I had vinyl and I always kept my vinyl, but I wasn't actively buying it at that time. So I bought it on CD and cassette because my car had a cassette player.
Yeah.
But I don't remember where I got this record. But as time went on, and it was probably until about 8 or 9 years ago that I had no idea that this thing was worth nearly as much as it is. So like the last sold, I don't know what the last sold on Discogs is. The low on this is $100. The high is $525, and the median is $299. And those numbers are up there.
They're big numbers.
Really, when for a mass-produced pop rock band, obviously Van Halen has sold 100 million albums, but I really think that some of the reason that this has retained some of its value, even considering that they did that box set version last year, it might have been in 23, but I think it was in the last 2 years. And then they just released a new version of this that's a deluxe edition that is very tempting. I'm probably going to get it. Much like the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge deluxe set that I have that comes with the CDs, the DVD, and the LP. But I think that the reason that this has held as much of its value as it has is because Eddie just passed away.
Yeah.
And that always has something to do with it too. And I've always really liked this picture of the guys on the back too. Eddie's got the short hair, kind of looks like Billy Joel a little bit there. But I've always loved this record. Always been a fan of Van Halen, no matter who was singing. And it's this is just one of those that I have that I'm extremely grateful to have, and I'm lucky to have because, it's a rare one.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about rare records, you wouldn't expect Van Halen to be on that list, but it is. And note to both me and you and Jacob, we're probably going to have to blur out the middle part of this because even though there's no nudity there, and this is a Photoshop trick, this gets blurred out when you see it posted on vinyl groups on social media for one reason or another, because people have dirty minds, right? So it's not really a set of, it's really not Siamese twins, but yeah. Anyway, that's like one of the prized, accidental prized possessions. In
yeah.
the, in
And
the
I mean, you
collection.
wind up with stuff and it's like, I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a cool feeling too.
Yeah.
To be like, what? And then you're like looking online, go to Discogs, go to eBay, and you're like, what? Is this right? It's almost like scratching off a winning lottery ticket.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Van Halen Balance. Check it out. What's your last one, Wheels?
Well, the last one I'm going to talk about, I think I'll do this one.
Okay.
The Red
gonna
Hot
scoot
Chili
that over.
Peppers' first album.
And it's just Red Hot Chili Peppers, right?
Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's it. And I was working in a record store and bought it when it first came out, and I liked it, but I didn't love them at the time because they were opening for a lot of bands I was seeing at the time.
Oh, so you had seen them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you knew what the deal was.
Yeah.
That they were
Oh, yeah.
genre jumpers, right?
Oh, yeah.
But at that time, were they more funk and...
They were more, I would say this is more funk. There's no really
Pop.
rap.
Yeah.
It's just more funk,
Yeah.
guitar, a lot of funk guitar.
Yeah.
You hear Flea a lot on that bass.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
And this is it's one of those that's, it's not highly valuable, and the median price is probably around. You could probably get it. It depends on what pressing. I know this is a first pressing, so it's worth a little bit more. But there are prices anywhere from like 100 to. No, there's one. There's one for 80. Let's see what the U.S. price is, because it's kind of fun to see. Let's see what they're going for in the U.S. Yeah, see, so now in the U.S., you get everything from like 120 up to 325.
Wow.
There's one for $95.
I'm going to turn this around carefully. The artwork, it
is bothersome if you want to read anything.
it's like Purple Rain. It's like,
yeah, it's like you're not going to be able to read anything on this.
what it reminds me of. I don't know who the artist is. I'm sure you probably don't either. Maybe you do. To me, it looks like Rob Zombie's art.
Yeah.
Very similar. Pusshead was a big artist too for Misfits and
okay.
And Metallica.
Yeah.
And
it's that it is, yeah, it's kind of that same art.
Kind of in that vein. So you had the pleasure of seeing these guys before you got this.
Maybe not before, but around the same time.
Around the same time.
Because I probably got this in, I don't know, 84, 85.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's a good one, man, because I never see this. I don't see any of those first couple of Chili Peppers
Yeah,
records.
this one's been repopped too.
Oh,
so.
yeah, and it's EMI Records, right? So is that Capitol? It's EMI Capitol, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
And I think it was even a sub-EMI label called Simply Vinyl.
Interesting. Huh.
Because they were definitely a very underground band when they
Niche
broke.
band.
Yes.
I mean, they really are. They've kind of, I was introduced to them with Mother's Milk, but really loved Blood Sugar Sex Magic, the one that came out after that, 92. I listened to that record a lot. And it was kind of when both rap and rock were fusing, in the early 90s, and kind of crazy that a band like that is as big as they are. I mean, they sell out any arenas or stadiums.
Oh, yeah.
Play. So I've still never seen them.
Yeah.
I've
seen them a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a trip.
It's a different show every time.
Yeah. Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that. My last one is a mint record, or totally mint. It is still sealed. The Damned, Grave Disorder, still factory sealed from 2002, and it's on white vinyl, even though I haven't opened it. I have most of the Damned's stuff on vinyl, and I have not opened this yet. I've listened to this a million times on. I have the CD and streaming and stuff, and my buddy Bill is a huge Damned fan, and they're actually touring right now. And I think they just canceled like 3 or 4 shows in the Northwest, but I think they're touring across the country. So I'm going to try to make it to see them. But this is Grave Disorder, probably my favorite album by them. And this was another one at a record store, and it was sitting there, and I asked. It was Doug, I think. I think I got this at Karma too. I've given Karma quite a few shekels over the years, but I'd asked about it. He said, well, let me look it up, and gave me the last sold price from Discogs. The low on this is $68. The high is $539, and the median's $102. So somewhere in there is the actual value. But I should probably just open it up and play it.
Yeah.
But,
especially for a band you really like.
Yeah.
They were one of the originals.
One of the originals. So they've been around a long time, and they're still out there doing it. And I just love their attitude and their sound and all of it. So I figured I'd bring this one because I don't have many sealed records. I usually rip into them immediately. And as a matter of fact, I totally forgot that this was sealed. I went to grab it and I'm like, oh yeah. So
I haven't opened it.
yeah. But, there are a lot of things that, like Wheel said, make records more valuable than other records. And you've got condition, you've got scarcity, supply, demand, all of that stuff. But there are resources out there that as a record collector, somebody that's been doing it for a long time or somebody that just started, there are resources out there that can really kind of help you and guide you right along. And that's really the whole reason we wanted to do this show, just to kind of give a little beginner's course on protecting your hard-earned money as a vinyl collector. So anything else you want to say about the
Just keep digging.
Yeah.
And go to a record store. Most of the staff in those record stores are very knowledgeable and they're happy to help you out.
Yeah, happy to share that knowledge. You don't become that knowledgeable about something, and you don't continue doing it if you don't care and if you don't like it. And it's part of what makes this so fun.
Yes.
So we want to thank all of you guys for coming along with us and being part of this community. We want to again remind you to go to that Fourth Wall site. We want to remind you that we have links to all these records down there. If you want to purchase them from Amazon, we get a little kickback from them. Go to the social media. What do we want them to do when they do that?
Like, subscribe, share, and comment.
Yes, tell us what other records you'd like us to talk about. Give us some ideas for some shows. Do that as well. But most of all, we want you guys to go in there, thumb through your collection, find something you like, put it on, sit back, let it fall over you and
Engulf
just
your soul.
bask in the beauty of analog music. For Wheels, I'm Jay, and we'll see you all the next time around.